Hello all, it's Farooq here, presenting the second in our series of podcasts entitled Orthodontics in Summary. Today we're looking at Chris Chan's lecture at the AAO entitled TAD Mechanics for Fixed Appliances and Aligners. Now Chris started off describing how aligners work, and they work by being a push appliance. He gave the example of a mesio-palatally rotated upper canine and described for aligners to correct this they require two stages. The first stage is a push force from the palatal aspect, moving the tooth buccally out of the arch almost, and that also has a mesial out rotation. The second stage is a pushing force, this time from the buccal aspect, with a distal in rotation, thus bringing the tooth back into line and aligning the tooth. Chris spoke about how he uses TADs as part of his aligner therapy. He spoke about, for his distalization cases, he will initially distalize the molars. Subsequent to that, he places TADs and therefore retract the canine directly to the TAD. He spoke about class 3 cases and how his preference to position the TAD is in the buccal shelf region. Now to you and I, that is a vertical insertion which goes laterally or buccally to the first and second molars. Now he gave two strong arguments to why he does this. The first is that the TAD doesn't get in the way of the distalizing roots, and the second is that he's never had failures from positioning TADs in this region. Chris went on to speak about extraction cases. Now, the challenge with extraction cases and aligners is that we're more likely to have anchorage loss than is planned, and also the upper anterior teeth are more likely to extrude, and he gave his references which have been summarized. Now, to counter this, especially in gummy smile cases, what Chris would do is utilize TADs. So to prevent the anteriors extruding, he would position two TADs in between the upper, central and lateral incisors labially. He would have a cutout on the palatal aspect of the aligner, and the patient would be given some elastics. The elastic would go from this cutout palatally on the aligner over the incisal edge and hook up to the labially placed TADs. He'd also have TADs in the buccal segments to also preserve anchorage. Now Chris also spoke about his utilization of TADs for sectional mechanics with fixed appliances. He spoke about a lower 5 in scissor bite and spoke about using a buccally placed TAD with a direct vector using elastomeric chain to bring this tooth out of crossbite. Chris finally concluded by talking about using a 3D lever arm, which is a 1925 stainless steel attached to a impacted tooth and directly attached to a TAD. He spoke about utilizing composite to control the elastic on the actual chain and therefore allowing three-dimensional control of the impacted tooth. That's it for today's summary. Stay tuned for future podcasts looking at the AO lectures and other key presentations and lectures.